Good morning, Kalimera. Welcome to another Greece travel guide video, and welcome to Agistri. Following on from my previous video on Aegina, I took a short ferry ride across to the much smaller island of Agistri, and we're now out and about exploring the island. I've hired a moped once again to get around. I set out from Skala this morning, where I'm staying, and ridden across the island to Aponisos, where I am now, and decided I'm going to start here and then work my way back across the island back to Skala. So there's really not an awful lot here. There is an island, little island behind me, that's apparently private. I think you have to pay €5 to go across, which I'm not sure I'm going to do because I'm not planning on staying for too long. Sea is nice around here, and there's a little bit of a beach over there. There's enough here to spend some of the day if you wanted to. A bit of sunbathing, a bit of swimming, and some lunch. Yeah, it's a very, very tiny, not even really a resort, just a beach basically, and somewhere to eat. Just come to have a walk around this lake, which is just behind the beach. I thought I would have a walk around. It's quite interesting. You don't see all that many of them in Greece, or at least I haven't. That is Aponisos. I'm now going to jump back on the moped and head back to Limenaria, which is a little village on the eastern side of the island that I had to pass through to get here. It's very, very small, but nevertheless we will go and have a little explore and see what it's about. So in terms of showing you Limenaria, this is pretty much it. It's kind of a blink and you'll miss it type of village. There is a church behind me. Around the corner, a couple of small tavernas, and there is a bus stop. So I should just say there does seem to be a fairly comprehensive bus service on the island between all of the settlements and Aponisos. That is pretty much it. So I imagine most people just drive through here on the way to Aponisos or back to Megalochori and Skala. So on the way back from Limenaria to Megalochori is the beach of Dragonera on the western coast of the island again, south of Megalochori. But once again it looks like quite a stony beach, which is a bit of a shame, but it seems quite popular. There is a little beach canteen further down for food and snacks, so I might actually have to get snacks. I'm getting a little bit hungry. But let's go and take a closer look at the beach. Last stop for today, and I am heading towards the beach of Chalkiada, which is on the northeast coast east of Skala. I did actually pop down here this morning. It's not the easiest beach to get to, but I'm going to put a map up on the screen with a marker for where you can park. There is a kind of a little pull in here, and at the moment someone's put a little stone pile by the side of the road, but who knows how long that might survive. Now I'm going to show you basically how to find your way down to the beach. There is quite a steep bit, I think, but let's see if we can get down to Chalikiada Beach. So I've actually come via a slightly different route this time. If you head slightly left as you come off the road, go down through the trees, there is mostly a visible path. Depending on the time of year, you may also see a few random tents here and there. It's quite a popular wild camping spot that will bring you out here, and then from this point it's relatively straightforward. So I never actually made it down to Chalikiada Beach. There is a bit of a climb down a fairly narrow rock face involved in order to get down to the beach, and I'm not a fan of heights, so I gave it a bit of a try and chickened out because I didn't want to fall and hurt myself. But to be honest, the beach itself is fairly coarse pebbles. It's not a sandy beach. The main reason to go there, I guess, is because it's quite secluded. It's very popular with wild campers by the look of it. It's certainly not the nicest beach on the island. I would say that's probably Aponisos or Dragonera. Chalikiada, not a success for me, but if you're a bit more adventurous and not afraid of heights and you don't mind a bit of a climb, then might be worth checking out. Good morning, Kalimera. This is my final full day on Agistri. So I'm out and about exploring again, and I've come to visit the main town of Megalochori. There is a small town beach, which is the one in the background here. It is pretty small. It actually looks quite sandy compared to some of the beaches on the island. One thing that is interesting to know, there's a port here, and I didn't actually realise until I looked a bit more closely that a lot of the ferries to Agistri do go in and out of Skala. If you are thinking of coming here, it's worth checking. I mean, there's lots of ferries every day. If timing's important and you want a particular ferry, then it's worth checking which port it actually comes into to make sure that your accommodation is conveniently located. Let's go and take a look around Megalochori. So I've had a walk through the streets of Megalochori, obviously not all of them. It doesn't seem to have an actual tourist centre as far as I can tell. I think this is one of the main squares where there's a church in the background and a couple of tavernas and some shops. But it doesn't have quite the same feel as Skala, which is why I think Skala is the more kind of touristy resort to stay in. You can probably walk between them in about 15-20 minutes. Whichever resort you stay in, I'm sure you can find a good meal and switch from one to the other as you want to. This is the main beach here in Skala, and it's a bit of an odd setup. It's kind of like a triangular beach. It's on a headland, and if I'm honest, it's a little bit disappointing. The pictures online make it look like a much kind of sandier beach with a clearer sea, but the sea is quite rocky in a lot of places, and the beach is moderately sandy, but not quite as sandy as I'd hoped it would be. I guess for a main town beach it's not too bad. It certainly seems to be popular. So that wraps up my video for Agistri. I hope you've enjoyed it. I do think it's an island worth visiting, especially if you're passing through Athens anyway. It's very convenient. The Aegina is about a 40-minute ferry ride, and then Agistri is only another 20 minutes from there. And it kind of makes sense to do both islands if you've got the time. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and please like and subscribe if you're interested in the content, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye!